How's it going, everyone? I figured I'd give you an update on how the market went and the state of all my leftover tomatoes. Well, as you can see here, these are all my stuff. Tomatoes didn't sell as well as I thought they were going to. The split was pretty interesting. I probably could have sold double the amount of peppers and half the amount of tomatoes. Now there is some nuances to that. Of course, these are a little bit undersized, and I know this looks ugly now, but this was once a full, beautiful, luscious tomato. They were a little bit undersized when I was selling them. I had some issues with the seeding, and yeah. But I think the big thing was, really, I had a lot of people ordering them online and then not picking them up. So they ghosted me. Maybe they just went to Home Depot, bought tomatoes there. But the people who are buying the hot peppers are generally cooler, and they can't find them anywhere else. So it's not like they just took a trip to Home Depot and they're like, oh, I'm going to find 10 different varieties of super hot peppers, or I'm going to find 4 different kinds of habaneros. They're just going to have, at the big box store, Reapers, Scorpion, habanero, maybe some other flavored peppers for that. So next year I'm going to be reducing the amount of tomatoes I'm going to grow, and I'm going to basically double down on the super hot peppers. I'm still going to grow some tomatoes. I think they're a really good basket filler. When I was at the market, people would, toss a couple in there, even if they were just getting peppers. But most people seemingly don't really even know that there's different kinds of tomatoes. They go in there and they ask for a red one or a cherry. So part of my job being there was educating. And not everybody is really down for education when they're going to buy a product like that. So I got a few people who were really, really excited about it. And then most people really were just looking for, give me a beefsteak. And then I'd have to explain what a dwarf tomato was, and that it's basically a beefsteak but easier to grow. And a lot of people are growing in containers. And I said, well, the dwarf tomatoes are really great for the containers. They grow really stocky. They cage and stake very easily. They produce all season. They have a great flavor and all that stuff. It's really everything you're looking for, and it's going to perform better in the small containers that most people put on their patio anyways. So yeah, I'm probably going to just double down on that, a little bit less on the variety of tomatoes I had, and just focus on a couple of really good dwarf varieties that I like, and maybe some slicer like the Rutgers, which is really popular, and a cherry. I'm not going to really kill myself on the tomatoes. Also, the tomatoes were just generally harder to grow. I'm not really sure what was going on with them. Their leaves turned yellow easier. They're more sensitive to the media, the water drying out. They're not as drought tolerant. Yeah, tomatoes just a little bit more annoying. In my location, people were driving an hour or 2 just to get the peppers that I was offering. Nobody, even if they lived down the street from me, was driving to come get the tomatoes. So that's a lesson learned for this year. That's definitely something. And now, I gave a bunch of these away. I gave them away to community centers and gardens and the senior center and all that stuff, and students that I had. But yeah, I'm gonna basically just have to compost the rest of these, which is a little sad. But I gave away a ton, so I definitely added more than I took away. The resources that I used for this were fairly minimal, and plus I get to reuse all the trays and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. Now look, I'm not gonna pretend like I sold every single super hot pepper that I was putting out there. I did have one person bail on me, just one. But anything that I had left over, I actually planted out, and it really wasn't that much. So that one order, there was about 15 peppers there. I gave some away, sold a few. Anything that I had left over, though, I planted out. And I'm looking at, these are Scotch brains. One, I'm going to isolate the flowers for these, or at least a couple of them, just so I can collect some seeds for next year. And 2, I'm going to test them out, give them flavor reviews. I've been selling all of these peppers and stuff, but it's not like I tasted every single pepper that I sold. So I want to see, how does it grow in a container? How does it grow in New Jersey? How does it taste? Is it good in a sauce? Is there a smoky element to it? Lots of people really aren't great at describing flavors, I found, so I'm going to put myself up to the task. So I have these in 5-gallon grow bags, or sometimes, in this case, because this is going to be, I think, a really good variety, a little bit of a larger container here. And decent growing media in there. They're a little bit smaller because of course I planted them a little later, but these are gonna blow up in size because first they grow roots and then they just, boom, you know, double in size almost every week. Scotch Brains, really cool variety, very much loved online, and I'm really looking forward to trying it myself. So this spring market was really fun. It was my first time doing any of this stuff. I had a lot of great, interesting conversations with some really cool people. I got to donate some stuff, which I thought was pretty interesting. And now with some of the leftovers, I get to try them out myself. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to do the flavor reviews for this Aji Charapita, which is a much loved pepper variety online. Look how cute it is, it's so small. In the future, I'm going to be doing a lot of taste reviews on both the tomatoes and the peppers and anything else that I'm growing. So check out those when they come out. This is pretty much it for the spring market. And now we're getting into the summer, which is the summer of harvests and joy and being out in the garden. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.